Everyone, it's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. Just want to say again, my website, something got updated with WordPress, I guess, or some widget, or I don't know, and it erased almost all the text on my website. So you can still order a reading, but there's literally no information about how I do my readings. So if you are interested in a reading, which I tape a private YouTube video, just go ahead and message me and if you have any questions. So this is going to be a weekly reading for December, the week beginning December 3rd, which is today. Sorry, I have a lot going on, so I almost wasn't even going to do this week's reading, but I really, really wanted to for you guys. So, okay, and today I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot. I like to show people the backs of the cards. I'm kind of a fan of the, you can tell these are, I've had these for a long time and they've been used. Okay, so let's start with Aries. I better bookmark it because people like to skip ahead. Okay, Aries, let's see what's going on for you. Nice, nice. So this week, there's going to be a shift in how you feel about something. For many of you, it could be about work, or I almost feel for some of you, it's going to be really stepping into your authenticity and really embracing a part of yourself that maybe you had hidden or had been even a little bit defensive about. Like maybe it's something that people don't really get or have sort of a stereotypical idea, like tarot, for example, or astrology or something spiritual, or just something alternative that's not quite, accepted mainstream, so people can have weird ideas about it. And I feel like you're stepping into that, and you're just very matter-of-factly saying, "Yep, this is what I'm into." And that's it. And it's like whatever people think about it, what their prejudice is, or their idea about something. Most people, I think, immediately think, for me, like tarot cards are fortune telling and things like that. But for me, the tarot is a spiritual practice, and it's about self-improvement, and it's thought-provoking and helps me think about my perception and perspective on things, and is an amazing tool to help me in life. So if people think that, their knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, eye roll, she reads tarot cards, she tells fortunes, which is crap. But it's like letting that go. It's like people can think what is that Wayne Dyer that says, what people think about you is none of your business. And you're just like, hey, I'm going to be fabulous and do the things that I love, and I'm not going to hold back in my life anymore because I'm concerned about what other people think. So I think many of us, myself included, live our lives a modified version of our true authentic life because we're so concerned, or we're so conditioned really about what other people think and being acceptable, and we don't want people talking about us or thinking negatively of us and things like that. So I feel that there's really going to be a shift, and you're like, I'm going to feel good about myself regardless of what people think, and really sort of finding, so that shift in how you feel is the Knight of Cups, and the Seven of Spears is really that standing up for yourself, but not becoming defensive, not over-explaining, no being a complete sentence type energy. And, you know, their reaction, other people's reaction to things is their business. It's not your responsibility to make them okay. They're responsible for their thoughts, behaviors, reactions. And it's not our job to go around and try to make sure everyone else is okay. And I think we are conditioned to do that, especially women. And then this is stepping into your authenticity, finding what you truly love to do, what feeds your soul, regardless of stereotypes or anything like that. Just finding something that really adds to your life and makes it really meaningful. Okay, so let's move on to Taurus. How are you, Taurus? So I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot today. Hope you guys are doing well. The Judgment card, Two of Swords, Nine of Shields. So definitely with Judgment and the Two of Swords there, it's making a decision. At the bottom of the deck is the Chariot card, and that's really about making a plan and taking action in your life, and not just allowing sort of life to guide you. It's more you making a plan and working toward it, and not allowing setbacks or detours to completely get you off course. You know, sometimes we don't like a job, so we just take the next available job to alleviate getting out of, to get out of the job that we just don't like. And then we end up staying there. It's a steady paycheck, and we kind of get complacent, and then we've built up some seniority, and then we feel like we really can't get back on track, even if it's not a job that really fulfills us, because at that point we'd feel like we're moving backwards. But in a way, it's like you may have to backtrack a little to get back on course to what you truly love to do and your true purpose. So I feel like you're making a decision about that. It's like, you know what? I want to do fill in the blank, or I want to be in this type of a relationship. And just having someone there because I was lonely, or, they were around when it's not really fulfilling me, or I don't want to live here anymore. I don't like this job. This house doesn't work for me. I'm house poor, or it's too small, or it's not where I want to be. I live in a townhouse. I want somewhere where I can have a garden, whatever it is. It's like, oh, but I got a good interest rate. And then the whole list of reasons why you have to accept where you are. And so making a judgment about something like that this week, really and something I think you've been analysis paralysis, not being able to really figure out for a while. And it's like you're finally making a decision. And for some of you, it's definitely going to be to leave a relationship. For some of you, it's going to be opening your own business or standing on your own. It's like you're really kind of come into your power by making this decision. It's going to be... Yeah, and this kind of came up for Aries, really stepping into your authenticity, really stepping into your own power, making your own decisions. And it's going to feel, even if it's scary and such, you're going to feel really good about it, because you're going to be like proud of yourself for going there, for living the life you want to live, instead of taking the easy way out, kind of. It is not necessarily going to be the easy way, but it's going to be the most fulfilling and rewarding, because you're truly working towards what why you're here, why you're on this earth, and what you truly want, and not settling. Okay, Gemini. How are you, Gemini? Thank you for joining me. I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot today. Ooh, the Chariot, that just came out. Ooh, the Fool. Okay, I love these two cards together. The Knight of Swords. So at the bottom of the deck is the King of Shields. So he's a very successful king. He's a very grounded king. He really gets the long game, long-term planning. He doesn't need immediate gratification, immediate reward. He knows that slow and steady wins the race, and he needs to, starting anything now, even if it seems insignificant, over the long run can make a big impact. So he's the kid that starts saving money when he starts cutting lawns when he's 12, you know what I mean? It just starts setting money aside. And, he's the kind of kid that will, or she, I shouldn't say he, I don't know why I'm saying, because it's the king, but male or female, they'll have their own house in their 20s because they've been saving that whole time. And they just know $5, $10, $20 here or there adds up. So I think what this is saying at the bottom of the deck is that something you've been planning for a long time, and regardless of Mercury in retrograde, that it's time. Like it's you have the money now, the down payment to start really seriously getting approved for a mortgage and looking for a house. It's time to move. It's time to look for a bigger job. It's time to whatever new you want to start, whatever seed you planted a while ago, it's time. So think about that. Think about what long-term goals, and if you kind of maybe gotten complacent in waiting, that it's scary now to say, okay, I saved all this money, or I've been doing all this planning, I've been studying, I've been building this strong foundation, and now, okay, it is time to move forward with your plan. And this is action. This isn't a reaction. This is something that you have a plan and that you're working towards. And the other Fool is taking a leap of faith. Maybe you took your yoga teaching license, but you haven't started teaching yet. Something's been holding you back. Something with communication, a website, YouTube channel, anything like that. Starting a website, putting yourself out. It's time to put yourself out there. You've done the preparation. Maybe it could even be online dating, or talking to friends hey, I'm really interested in dating. See if someone has something to set you up, or something like that. So it is time to move forward and put yourself out there and believe in yourself, and take a leap of faith in those things that you've been preparing for. You're ready. You've done the work. It's solid. It's time to move on it. Okay, we're going to move on to Cancer. How are you, Cancer? Thank you for joining me. We're doing a reading for the week beginning today, December 3rd. There's a happy full moon. There's definitely a full moon. It was like a daylight out last night. It was cool. And I think Mercury retrograde starts. That's okay. Just review. Just double check everything. I think sometimes Mercury in retrograde can be an opportunity as well to, if things do go wrong, how do you handle it? Can you show that you're mature and that you have a handle on things and you're able to deal with life when things go wrong? Because honestly, that's like some people who, it's interesting that this Eight of Cups, I've heard from some people who are not in good relationships, and they say, well, they're not bad all the time. They're not, and most people are great when things are going their way. I mean, of course we are. Things are the way we want it. Yeah, everyone's fine, but it's people's character and how they deal with things when things aren't going their way that really shows you what a person is made of and what they truly are like, their true character. Because a truly and obviously everyone has a moment, but if anytime things don't go someone's way, they're, screaming or blaming or freaking out or totally let it completely unhinge them. That's a huge red flag. I mean, you have the Eight of Cups here, which is saying it's time. Well, actually, with the Eight of Spears, it's like run like the freaking wind. Like, get the hell out. Don't look back with something. So something, it's interesting. I kept this one out by accident. It's like once you say, this is just not cool. I see that red flag, and this can be in any area of your life. It doesn't just have to be a relationship. And it's just like, I'm out. I'm not. Why am I inviting and allowing negative energy into my life? Like, I don't need this. And there's it doesn't have to, you don't have to make a big deal about it, a scene about it. It's just like, just let it go. Let it go and walk away and move towards good times. You have this beautiful Four of Swords, which is like peace. You want peace and calm. Like, don't we all? Like, no one wants to come home. Like, if you are going to work or coming home or going to whatever you do on a regular basis, and you have to prepare yourself, or you just get stressed just even thinking about it, that's a red flag that this is probably not healthy. And why have you talked yourself into you have to deal with it? Yes, there are situations we have to deal with, but make sure you're taking care of yourself, self-care, taking time for yourself and not letting it consume you. And if it's so toxic that you can't do that, why are you there? Walk away. Like, what are you getting out of it that you're staying in that situation? And it's like, once you make this decision, because this is really a decision card, things happen very quickly. Things improve very quickly. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe how much that was weighing me down, and the scales come back into balance. And I think you're even going to get validation where people are going to be like, yeah, I had that same experience. I mean, this is a really dumb example, but it could be something like, I went to this dentist that I was going to with my son, and like the care was fine, but every time I went there, something really weird happened with the front desk. Like, really weird. And they were just, it was just, there was no reason I've been going to the dentist for 40 something years. There was just like something weird about it. So I'm like, why am I doing this? There are a million other dentists. So I went to another dentist. I've never had anything weird ever happened now in the 4 years I've been going to this new one. And I've since heard people say, oh yeah, I heard that place has a reputation. So it was kind of like, I knew it wasn't me. Like, I knew it wasn't, it was just so bizarre. So that's a really, light version, but it could just be something like that, where it's like every time you go to your child's daycare, it's like, and then you finally are like, wait, you find another daycare, and then you realize, oh, that wasn't the norm. There was something up there. There was something weird. And then things just come into balance, and you're like, oh, I feel so much better. Like, the stress is just gone. And you have this beautiful Sun card. So it's like, this is an aha moment for you this week, that like, you don't have to stay in bad situations. You don't have to tolerate negative situations. You don't have to invite or allow negative energies into your life. You do have a choice. So that's a beautiful reading. Okay, we're going to move on to Leo. And then Leo, if you give me 1 second, Leo, I'm going to shut this shade because the sun is beaming into my eyes. Okay, so Leo, the week of December 3rd. I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot. Thanks for joining me. You're doing well. My fellow fire sign. Ooh, 2 pages. Nice. I'm liking that. So the energy at the bottom of the deck is this King of Swords. And he's a very, I think the swords get a bad rap because people kind of say, oh, this is a harsh person. They have a quick tongue and all that stuff. And yes, that can be the negative side of the King of Swords. But that would be saying that every air sign, you're a fire sign, but I understand that. But that every air sign is this sharp-tongued, difficult person, which is absurd. So he's like, they often say the court cards of the suit are like a lawyer, which is a good example, but they can, computer program, someone that's very analytical, very mathematically inclined, factually inclined, data inclined, that, makes decisions based on fact, based on their head a little more than their heart or something they're super passionate about. If they're very calculating, and they do their homework, they do their numbers, they make a list, they check things. They sound like Santa. They make sure that it makes sense. So, they have a lot of common sense and they follow that. So I don't see why that's a negative quality. They're very good at communicating. They're very articulate and can be writers and have a real way with words, in a positive way. So what that says to me is that this week you're going to be communicating very clearly. You're going to be matter of fact and upfront. Another thing I think how they get misunderstood is that they think they would, some people, you have a conversation with them and in the end you're like, you're not even sure what they said. You're like, was that a yes? Was that a no? Are they happy? Are they upset about, you're just kind of like, they talked in such circles and were so trying to be so diplomatic that you couldn't even understand what the message was. It was just like, what, you're just leaving with absolutely no more information than you started. I think as a sword and air energy would think that was being dishonest. So I think by being upfront, they just feel like that's the best way to be because they don't want to. They can be very direct with their communication. So I say that again, that's what would be a good energy for you. Now it is Mercury in retrograde, so just double check your emails or have someone of this type of energy. Double check because they'll make sure it isn't too emotional, anything you're saying or communicating. But you have this Page of Cups and this Page of Wands. So this is emotions and this is passion and things you're excited about and all that stuff. So if you are trying to communicate all this stuff, it may be good to have a sword energy, an air energy, a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, sort of look over stuff so it's not too emotional, it's not too much this week. But it's like, I think you're super excited because this has come up several times. It's like you've really found something, like something's really clicked for you, really working for you. You're really excited about something. You're excited about something at work. You're excited about something you're passionate about and inspired, that really makes you feel good. It's like you're kind of on a little bit of a high. So that's where that that King of Swords can kind of make sure you're communicating things clearly, and that it has the right balance, that you're not a little too emotional or a little too passionate about something. And I don't think it's not bad, but it can just take away from the message if it's a little bit too over the top. Yeah, that's the point. Okay, let's move on to Virgo. How are you, Virgo? Thanks for joining me today. We're doing a reading for the week of December 3rd, and I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot today. We're just going to pull a few cards and see what kind of energies might be happening for you. Oh, Ace of Wands, Ace of Shields. This is another ace, I'll freak. 4 shields. Wow. Nice. So new beginnings. The Ace of Wands is getting new energy, new inspiration. It's like a spark. It's like something's lighting you up. Something's getting you fired up and excited about a new job, or it could be a relationship. But with this, definitely a new job and career might be, maybe you could see a job posting that you're like, oh my God, that, like, something about it just clicks. It's like, wow, if I could have created my own job, if I could have drafted my perfect job, it would be this. It's the right company. It's the right salary. It's the right, like, everything about, if I could pick and choose, cherry pick what I like to do, that's it. So you might see something like that. You might be approached about something, a job or a project or something where you're just like, oh my God, this is like, you're just excited about it. Or you find something that clicks, that works, a new hobby, anything that really, a new cause, a new friend, anything that really sort of just clicks. And the Ace of Shields is, maybe if it is a job, it's like, wow, I can buy a house, I can get a different apartment, I can move. It gives you some sort of foundation, material success, or what's the word I'm trying to say? It's escaping me. A foundation. It'll come to me after I'm done the video. But it gives you the security, that's what I'm trying to say, that you can it'll improve your life materially. Maybe you can get a new car. Maybe you can start just saving money or paying off some bills, paying off some loans, anything like that. But it brings you feel more secure about it. So it's something you're excited about and brings security. And yeah, and with the 4 shields, I love this 4 shields because look at her. She's like, oh my God, this guy is just like all about himself. Him. And she's just like, holy crap, shut up. So I think that this will give you the ability to be self-sufficient, and maybe it will allow you to get away from someone who is controlling and selfish, or some sort of energy where you felt maybe a little bit trapped or a little bit, just some situation you just weren't happy there because you felt underappreciated, undervalued. And it's like you're finally having someone appreciate you. This could even be a relationship, a friendship, someone who just sees the value in what you do, and acknowledges that. And it's really inspiring you and giving some spark and feeling of accomplishment, and that this is something you can build on moving forward. Ooh, I love those aces. These are beautiful gifts from the universe, beautiful new opportunities and beginnings coming to you. So that's an awfully nice reading. Okay, let's move on to Libra. How are you, Libra? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. This is a reading for the week of December 3rd. I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot. That's what the backs look like. So let's just pick a few cards and see what some energies might be happening. This Eight of Shields keeps coming out. I love that card. It's one of my favorite cards. It's about really being authentic with your life, finding what makes you really feed your soul, which makes you tick, which makes you happy, which makes you feel fulfilled in this life. The bottom we have the full moon. So when the full moon, we just had a full moon. The moon card's a really interesting card. I mean, it can be a little bit, you think of lunacy. So if you've ever been outside at night in a full moon, it can be very invigorating. The energy is really cool. It's really interesting, and it just has its own special energy, and that can be almost like a high. But it can also cast weird shadows. Like you can't really see, even though it's so bright, you're still not seeing things clearly as you can during the day when the sun's out. So your emotions can just be a little weird, a little off, a little different, a little heightened, which can be good or bad. But then, when in the daytime things, you can feel very different. If you've ever been up at night, like worrying about things or thinking about things or having weird dreams, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm glad that was a dream, or, things feel better now during the day. So it can also be tell you to think about your dreams. Like maybe there's something in your dreams that's trying to tell you, like, what are you dreaming about? Why would you be dreaming about that? Is that significant in some way? But it can also be a card that tells, well, it's interesting. We have the Eight of Swords under here, the denial card. It can kind of say if things aren't feeling, if you're a little emotionally confused and you're just trying to sort out your feelings, to give it a little bit of time, because in the day, the next day, sleep on it. The next day it might feel better. You might see better, and that this might be just a process where you may just have to sit with your feelings for a little bit in order to sort them out. But it is saying to take charge, to be the leader in your own life, to make the decisions that are right for you. And this doesn't mean you're selfish and you don't consider anyone else, but you and you alone have to live with the consequences of your decisions. And if you're making them for other people, or you're making decisions to make someone else feel better when it's not what you truly want, and it's very difficult when you're in a relationship, like where do you end and someone begins? And if you've allowed someone to sort of, quote unquote, train you to, oh, I better not do that because they'll get excited, they'll get upset, and you sort of realize you've completely modified your behavior around someone else's issues and what they want, and that's sort of a red flag. That wait a minute, this is your life, and you need to live your life with authenticity and true to yourself, and sure, we need to be respectful and mindful of people that we interact with, but we can't walk on eggshells, and we can't be modifying our lives and our decisions be based solely on whether they're going to be okay with it or not, and their needs and things like that. So this is, be the leader in your life. Be the leading person in your own life. You can't always take a back seat to someone else. So we have two Shields cards here, which are Pentacles. This is about, so some of you maybe feeling more secure, though, like when you really look at things practically, away from that moon energy. It's like you have a house, you have some money, it's like you have the ability, you have the security, the solid foundation, to do what you need to do to live the life. So there's no excuse for not stepping into your power. Like there's no excuse why. And well, this Eight of Swords is under here. Like you could potentially be in denial. Like, I can't break free. I can't do something because, and I think it's almost like you've built up some excuse where you really are able to make the changes you need to make. And it's almost like you do know what you want, what you love to do, what would be being your authentic self. So don't deny that. Like, step into your power, step into your life. And sometimes we can hide behind people, you know what I mean? Because we're afraid, or we don't think we deserve it, and we make up these excuses, or use someone else as an excuse, a shield, speaking of shields, that we can sort of hide behind. And it's a good excuse not to step into our own power and make the decisions we want to make. It's like, well, I can't because of someone else. I can't do this. It's always someone else's fault. It's always, this excuse that we can't live authentically. So these are kind of some themes you really need to think about. And it's like, are you not living the life that really would bring you joy? And why is that? Okay, Scorpio. Hi there, Scorpio. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to pull a few cards for the week of December 3rd. See some of the energies out there. I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot. I don't know if you can still get this or not. I haven't looked. I really love these cards. I use these cards exclusively for probably 15 years. Ace of Cups, Two of Swords. So right off, what came to me is not to self-sabotage. I feel like some of you, for those of you looking in a relationship, like you've had strife and stress, and like just there's been arguments and such like that in past relationships, or even in your previous relationship. And I think so either you are sort of self-sabotaging or not open. You think you're open to new relationships, but you're not open, because you're just like in the back of your head, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're just assuming it's not going to go well. It's interesting. I just put a post up from, I forgot her name. She's the Truth Bomb Mom. Go to my Facebook page. It's in the show more section below, about this theme that just came to my mind for you guys, is that, you don't have to settle. You can have it all. And there, how do we see the red flags versus, self-sabotaging and being afraid to let someone in and believe that we can have we're worthy of everything. It's like you need to make a decision about who you are, what you accept, what your worth is. If you're going to let new experiences in, if you're going to allow yourself, if you believe that you deserve good, positive emotions and relationships and experiences in your life, this is going to be like a closing of a chapter for you this week. Like something's culminating, something's wrapping up. And I really feel it is somewhat internal for you, that you're sick of fighting with yourself, or you're just like, it's like a feeling of surrender. Like, some of you may be surrendering a relationship, a friendship, some situation that has just been stressful. And finally you're like, why am I doing this? Like, it's kind of sad, but I don't want to have my relationships where I'm fighting, where I feel like we're against each other. We're on different sides. We're not together. We're not working towards the same thing. So some of you could have a truce in an existing relationship where you really have that tough conversation where it's either going to make or break it. It's either going to air things out, get things out in the open, and again, it could be that tough conversation that people are afraid to have these conversations. And we think, well, if I tell her that, she's going to leave me. It's like, well, then you have your answer. Like, what? So if you don't have them, then the relationship is sort of doomed. The resentment's going to build up. It's just, it's just kind of on a faulty foundation. So this is really having a heart to heart, airing everything out, getting everything, just talking to someone and really seeing. And it's interesting. Someone may come to you and try to work things out, but you may be done. I mean, you have to make a decision about if there is the possibility of a new emotional beginning, or if it's done, or if you're like, we've been here one too many times. I mean, there are plenty of good people in relationships that just aren't a good match for each other. And maybe...
Okay, I found this on the web for later. Here went to many times. Take a look.
Somehow my Siri got triggered by that. Of course, if I ask Siri anything, he doesn't know jack, but the one time I don't want him. So making decision if you're really open to love, if you're ready to start a new journey or even any new experience, if you're ready to start a new phase of your life and accepting or not accepting, it's like more self-respect for yourself on this new way of navigating through the world and relationships and things like that. Okay, Sag. Hello, my fellow Sagittarians. Thanks for joining me. Let's see what we got going on. I'm kind of interested myself. I have to write a kind of a serious big report tomorrow. And I'm a little nervous because I usually don't get too worried about Mercury in retrograde. I just kind of acknowledge that things might go wrong and whatnot. In fact, I need to back up my computer. But I'm a little nervous about it. So let's see what we got here. We got ourselves. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck is the Eight of Wands. This is really like stepping into your power. So for me, and I don't usually read it this way, but this is like, it's like you're ready. It's time to step up. Like all the things you've been working towards and putting in motion and trying to make happen, it's like they're happening. So make sure you realize the opportunity and step into it. Don't run from it. Don't shy away from it. Don't just watch it pass you by because you're scared or whatever. Like this is what we've been waiting for. So if you meet someone, if you're looking to meet someone, don't let it pass you by. If there's a job opportunity, don't let it pass you by. If there are things to get out and do, like get out and do stuff. Get out there, apply to jobs, just have someone triple check your resume so there aren't that's a Mercury retrograde, so there aren't like typos in it. I always have typos. I'm the typo queen. Yeah, it's kind of like this go for it, like jump on board, like live, like get out there, live your life. We're right smack in the middle of the reading. Don't forget what our energy is all about. She's on this boat. I love this depiction of this Queen of Wands because there's a very stormy sea in the background, and that could really be distracting and concerning, but she is not. She's just standing there. She's steady and she's looking straight ahead. She's like, I am not getting knocked off my course. I am not allowing this to I'm not losing my focus. I'm determined. I know what I'm doing. I have this energy. I know where I'm going, and I'm not going to let stormy seas, other people's bad behavior, whatever else is going on, my own fears, my own inner demons. I'm not going to allow anything to deter me from what I want. You have to be patient about it. It might not happen overnight. But a lot of people, when they have to be patient, and this is Sagittarians, I'm one, so I'm talking about myself. We can get all excited, and then if it's not happening fast enough, we can sort of lose our focus. But it is. But at the same time, it's happening. So don't let it pass you by. It's like, hey, this is what you wanted. Now don't panic. It's time to really put your actions where your words and everything are. There's going to be some sort of like serendipity or synchronicity, coincidence, but it's not really a coincidence. It's like some sort of sign, I feel like that's going to remind you that this is what you want. This is where you were going. This was what was meant to be, and not to let your fears sort of take over and let you get off course or deterred. Yeah. So jump on in. This is what you've been waiting for. Could be a relationship, a job, any sort of situation. You've been looking for a house, like the perfect one might come along, but you might be freaked out. Anything that, whatever popped into your head. Okay, we're going to move on. Keep moving on to Capricorn. Hi there, Capricorn. Thanks for joining me. This is a weekly reading for December 3rd. I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot. I'm going to just draw a few cards and see what sort of energies might be out there for some of you. Oh, she just came out in Sagittarius reading, the Queen of Wands, and I love her in this. Yeah. The bottom of the deck is the Strength card. So this is all about, this really isn't about brute strength or white knuckling it. This is about surrender and vulnerability and putting yourself out there, even if you're scared or if you're worried or you're like, oh my God, I don't know what people will think. But knowing that you need to do it to grow, to move forward, to get what you really want. It's a really beautiful card. And then paired with her, again, Sag just have this. I love this depiction of her in this card because she's on this boat. There's very sort of stormy seas going on, but she is just standing firm, and she's just her eyes are just locked straight ahead. It's like she knows what she wants, what her goal is, what she's working towards, and no stormy seas, no someone else's bad attitude, no bumps in the road are going. She's just going to get right back on track. She's not going to let a little bit of perceived failure or things not going exactly the way she thinks to let her get off course. So that's the type of energy for you. Stay the course. Even put yourself out there. Like it's time to start something new. It's like you're wrapping something up. Maybe some of you have a new job. Maybe you're moving. It's like you're making this decision. It's like a new way of life. I'm putting myself out there. Maybe you're starting to date again, or maybe you're some sort of new milestone, but you're ready you're determined to bring some things, to make some things happen. It's a really beautiful energy. And it's interesting because some of you, it may have to do with some charity, something you're passionate about, but it brings this really is a card of balance, of give and take, and finding the right balance. If you can help someone out, helping them out. If you need some help, asking for some help. So doing what you need to do to finish. Like maybe some of you are almost nearing the end of some sort of project or something. Maybe it's school and you're like, ugh, like part of you would want to give up. But, you know, this queen is like, come on, you can do it. You have this dream, this goal. Don't let some rocky seas, don't just all of a sudden turn around, because honestly, maybe where you're going is right over the horizon. If you were to turn around, you're just going to have twice as long of stormy seas instead of just a little bit left. So stay determined, stay the course, but really go for it. Even if it means making yourself vulnerable. Maybe for some of you it's asking someone out, applying for a job you are not like 100% sure it's like, you know, you can do it, but I don't know, it's a big step up. It just feels so put yourself out there this week and go for it. Aquarius. Thanks for joining me, Aquarius. This is a weekly reading for December, the week of December 3rd. I'm using the Arthurian Legend Tarot. Not even sure. I don't know if you can still get these or not. Probably. I think it's, I'm forgetting the author. I want to say it's Ferguson. I haven't had this. I've had this deck for a long time. I don't even have the box anymore. Okay, let's see what some energies might be out there for Aquarius. Temperance, balance. Okay, so for some of you, I feel like this week is a week where you want to be really clear in your communication. I think it's going to be like this relief. I feel like you've maybe been someone in, and things like this can be in different parts of our life. Like we can be very upfront and speak our mind and be very clear with, oh, here, Siri keeps hearing me. I keep triggering my Siri, even though it's across the room, my phone. You may be able to be very clear with your family, but at work you have a hard time speaking up, or vice versa. You may be very sort of a leader at work, but at home you're not as able to set boundaries, or maybe you just give and give and give too much and don't take time for yourself. It's something like that. But it's like you're going to step into your power this week and be able to, and the Seven of Wands card is one of the, I think, the most important major minor arcanas in the deck, because this card is about speaking up for yourself, stating your case without getting defensive, defending yourself, but not in a defensive way, but a very, when you have this energy here, it's like, here are the facts, but keeping it short, keeping it simple. You don't have to explain yourself. We explain ourselves way more often than we have to. It's like, no, thank you. Thanks, but I'm not interested. And you don't have to, you don't owe people any more explanation than that. So I think that would be liberating for some of you this week. And letting it go, and then not worrying about it. Like, oh, should I make an excuse? Should I explain? It's just like, no, thank you. And then how someone reacts to that, that's their issue. That's their business. And this doesn't mean being like someone always helping you out and you always just saying no. It's not that type of energy, but there are many, many, many things that we're afraid to set boundaries about, or we over explain ourselves. That's just not necessary. And it can cause a lot of negative energy. And you're going to feel like so much more balanced, because it's like you're going to let that go. You're just going to say no, and it's like you're not going to worry about it anymore. You're not going to think about it anymore. And it's like you're going to have all this energy. You're going to feel so happy and good. You're going to feel lighter, because you're just like, you're getting rid of some sort of burden about how you're behaving and around boundaries and making excuses and all this stuff where you're no longer going to feel obligated to make sure everyone's okay with everything. It's like, I'm going to live my life. I'm not a selfish person. I'm not a jerk, but I just don't have to do and be everything for everyone else. I'm going to release myself from that burden that is not even mine to carry. And I don't even know why I put that on myself. And you're going to have all this like energy and excitement and it's going to invigorate you. It's going to be really interesting, I think, because you're going to be like, wow, like, why didn't I do this years ago? This is so exciting. Like, it's just going to be sort of this inner realization. And you're, I think people will even notice it. You're just going to be like happier. It's like you're going to choose to be happier. You're going to choose to have energy. You're not going to choose to focus on burdens and obligations, perceived or otherwise, and taking on other people's energy. And if you're single, it's going to make you really attractive too. And you're going to try new things and get out there. Okay, let's just move on to Pisces. Hi there, Pisces. It's Jen here, doing a reading for the week of December 3rd. I'm using the Arthurian, I think that's how you say, Legend Tarot. These are the backs look like. Oops, there you go. Decisions, some sort of decisions to make, decision about how to communicate something. Maybe something that has to do with money. Temperance. So at the bottom is the Knight of Cups. So this could indicate a change in emotions, and so this could be an offer, someone asking you out, someone offering you something that elicits a positive emotional response, something that relieves some worry or burden you've been feeling, something that, and it's paired here with temperance, so something that brings something into balance. I think for some of you, there's going to be one of those conversations this week with someone, whether it's someone at the job, a significant other, a friend, or maybe even someone you've been kind of like wondering if they like you or you like them, or you've been spending time together, but you're not sure, like, is this friend zone? Is this not? Like, what's going on? Like, you're going to have a conversation, a heart-to-heart with someone, but it's not going to be like a fight or something. It's going to be like, wait, here, let's just be honest. Let's just communicate. Let's say what needs to be said. And if this conversation ruins, or not ruins, but if we can't be on the same page, then we'll know. And then we can move on from there. But it's having one of those conversations. And I think it's really going to actually bring about potentially this new emotional beginning, because it's once things are aired, once things are out in the open, often they're maybe even nowhere near as like we can build things up in our mind, like, oh, if I communicate this, if I say this, you just are filling in the blanks about how someone's going to react or feel when you may not actually know. And they may be doing the same about you. So having that conversation, it's like everyone's all of a sudden, like on the same page. It's like, wow. So, and things come more into balance, and it can create a stronger foundation. I mean, this could be about money, as just throwing that out there because of the Pentacle card, but he's about solid foundation. Having these types of conversations create help create a solid foundation for these situations moving forward. Whereas if you shy away from having these conversations, then it's not solid. It's resentment builds up, and it's not necessarily, it may not work just for the fact that you can't have these types of conversations. Again, it's things are going to be better. So it's kind of like, then you'll know, and then you'll just feel better because it will be out. It's like having one of those breakdowns, crying, and then after it's like you feel better once you've released what's sort of built up and can take on a life of its own, and this feeling much better. And then there may be some new emotional beginnings that are really beneficial that come out of this. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week. Take care.